All right, let's take a look at what's going on this week. First off, how did yesterday go with Amanda and James?
Good.
Good? Yeah. Did you watch the really long LinkedIn video again?
Did not. She showed us.
Oh, I'm great.
She said we could watch it.
Okay, sounds good. Okay. They will be working, they will continue to come in on I think they're coming in like 4 more times or so. And the big value that they bring to the table is that you're going to write your resumes with me, and then you're going to have them review it. So you're going to have like a baseline, and then they'll go back and forth with you at least once or twice just to make sure, and actually go through it once or twice one-on-one, like over the weekend and nighttime kind of thing, just to make sure that it looks good and all the content is solid. Things to look forward to in a couple of days. We're going to have Chris Walquist come in and present on Git. So just if you want to read up before he gets here, again, you can kind of think of every single speaker who comes in, every single TA who comes in, every single mentor who comes in as a potential avenue into getting a job in this particular field. And then on Friday, we're going to have our second assessment. Josh will continue meeting with everybody. If you haven't met with him yet, make sure that you do. But I know he has a list of people he has to go through. If I have time in the morning, I will try my best to get to people, but that seems to be unlikely so far. Michael.
What time is the assessment going to be Friday? It's going to be the same time.
Same time, yeah.
Ending at 1 o'clock.
Yes, yeah, exactly. We might not do the 8 a.m. thing again because it was early, so we'll see. All right, so I wanted to start like the first official kind of career prep, and it's not like I'm gonna like really shift into like super let's do all career. Actually, let's put it this way: every single morning we're gonna do a little bit of career prep so that we're not doing it all in one day. And I feel like if we kind of mix it into each and every day, this just kind of becomes part of our cadence. Every single day we'll do a little bit of this rather than all the way at the end. Once you finish learning all this stuff, we're going to throw everything at you all at one time. You'll see very quickly that there's a lot of stuff, and it is impossible to finish in one day unless you literally spend the whole day doing it, and it's going to be complete garbage. So we're going to do it little by little each and every day. So if you don't finish what I ask you to do in one day, you always have the next day and the next day and the next day. At a certain point, I'm going to start setting pretty firm deadlines. Like I want a decent LinkedIn by 2 weeks from now or something like that. It's like, please try to make that as much as possible. Otherwise, you're going to be scrambling at the very end trying to get all this done. So tech is super, like if you're coming into the world of technology, and the world of tech is super high tech. Unfortunately, for some reason, we still use LinkedIn for everything. So LinkedIn, if you don't know, is kind of like the professional Facebook. You write about who you are. People can search for you. People offer jobs. People message you for different opportunities. I actually got my Code Platoon job because Rod just messaged me on LinkedIn and said, like, I see you have teaching experience. I'm starting this boot camp. Do you want to teach it or interview for it? I was like, sure. And that's how I got my job. So it actually does work. What we're going to do today, and I'll write this all inside the channel, is we're going to start getting our LinkedIn ready. And she talked yesterday, I'm guessing, about online presence. Is that the first career prep? You want to brand yourself as much as possible. It kind of goes along the way with like just business in general. Like who are you as a brand? Like how will you sell yourself to an employer? And similarly here, like how are you going to brand yourself online? So do you have a Twitter account that you do a lot of stuff with, like professionally, like saying like, I found this great thing called inject inside of Ruby or something like that, and this is how it works. Are you a person who likes to write? Would it benefit you to write a blog? But most people, that's not the case. So is anybody like super into like writing blogs or Twitter or anything like that? No? No? All right.
About blogging.
Blog?
Yeah.
Like that takes way too much time.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. All right. So in that case, let's put it this way. You will never be at a disadvantage if you decide to start writing a technical blog. Even if it's at a very, very basic level, there's a pool of junior applicants, and it kind of puts you a slight bit above everybody else. Because it's like, oh, this person's taking the time to try to really understand something and provide something of value to the community. It'll get you a little bit of a boost, but not a terribly large boost. If you think that's worthwhile for you, and you have the time and it helps you learn, I would do that. So like yesterday, we learned about object orientation. I learned about how different objects can talk to each other and how you can pass like the result from one method into another method or call methods within methods. You can talk about that. And maybe you'll write it once or twice a week or something like that. For everybody else who's mortal like me, LinkedIn. Does anyone have a LinkedIn? Can I kind of make fun of somebody? All right, Michael raised his hand first.
I have no picture, so you can just go to LinkedIn, like / Michael or Mike Dorsey 1021.
I might be easy to find.
Okay.
Yeah.
Tristan Wilmer.
Okay. Did she go over the good things about LinkedIn profiles and bad things about LinkedIn profiles?
You said make them more personable, like talking first person
Sure.
about yourself.
Is this you? All right. The half naked photo?
Mm-hmm.
Nice. All right. Let's take a look at Tristan's LinkedIn. Now I'm going to kind of pick it apart. You did sign up for this. And I'll pick it apart and kind of say like what's good and what people are looking for. So I'm going to start at the very top. He's got a cover photo of some sharks and some fish, which is fine. You can make this whatever you want. I would say as you're moving into technology, there are background photos, cover photos, essentially, that have some sort of technology twist to it. You could do it that way, or you keep the fish if you want. That makes you a little bit more unique. So Tristan's got a photo right here, and unfortunately, we don't have the ability to do like headshots here at Code Platoon. But if you just want to go outside and grab someone's like nicer iPhone or nicer Google Pixel or something like that, and just take a portrait, you want a nice like full face, like maybe half body or so of you smiling, or just you in some way. Probably not a half naked photo, so we might change this, though it might be popular with some recruiters, you never know. You have your name, your current title, and you can do whatever you'd like to do here. You can write whatever you like here. And then most importantly, this is where you want to work. So if you want to be in Chicago, after this is all over, you write Chicago, Illinois. If you want to move to Silicon Valley, you can write like, I don't know, San Jose, California, or something like that. So you have a nice, good profile picture that's professional and some slightly professional name, your title that you give yourself right now, and then where you want to work. Every single person has the ability to get LinkedIn Premium as a veteran. All you have to do is just kind of sign up for it. If you've already signed up for it, then you can no longer get it. But if this is the first time that you have it, you have 1 year, and it's a good time to get that right now. As I'm going further down, there's a missing thing over here that I'll show in my LinkedIn profile. It's a little bit about me paragraph, and it ties in really well with the behavioral question I'm going to ask you all to answer today, which is tell me about yourself. It's a 1-paragraph summary, basically tells recruiters and everyone else who you are and what you're looking for. When we get further down, he's got every little bit of experience over here with where he worked. I mean, so his title, where he worked, when he worked there, and then a few brief bullet points on like what he did. It's essentially a resume that's online. It's a little bit longer, that's all. The thing with Tristan's one right now is it's a little empty, I suppose. So this one I can probably expand out a little bit, like, and the main thing that people are looking for on LinkedIn and resumes is numbers. Like, I was able to increase sales by 45% or something like that. That's something everyone can understand, rather than a pass-through entity created for the purpose of owning. Like, I don't know what this is. I can kind of guess at it, but I don't really know what it is. Like, do you have any measurable results? And I'm sure I'm sure you've done some. Like, sure. I managed X number of dollars worth of assets. I increased sales by this. Like, in productivity, increased by 20% through the things that I did, because people want to see measurable results, rather than this is a job description, like, or this is just like, this is what the company does, but this is not what I did. That's the main thing. So yeah, you can kind of see he's got all of his experience listed over here, but there's not much. I don't really have an idea of what he did. Oh, there's something. Managed a successful repositioning of 8 million. I don't know what that means, but 8 million sounds like a lot of money. So that's something that jumps off the page to a recruiter. So on and so forth. And then he's got his education down here at the bottom. Why is it twice?
I get 2 degrees.
Okay, you can throw it all into one.
Okay.
Yeah. He's got some volunteer experience. So overall, this is coming along fairly well. Probably a 3 or 4 out of 10. It's not a bad place to start. A lot of people I know don't have LinkedIn's, and then we're going to start working on that starting today as well. So my LinkedIn I've worked on for a long time. I just continuously update and things like that, but it took me a long time to get to this point. You can kind of make a friend request to me. You should friend request each other, because the more friends that you do have, the more search results that you're going to end up in. So I have 500 plus connections. Around 500 is that LinkedIn sweet spot. So add everybody here in class, add anybody on Rod's network, add anybody on my network that you would like, because the more people that you have associated with your LinkedIn account, the more search results you're going to end up in. So for me, I have no cover photo. I have an ugly photo of myself right outside on this wall over here. And this is where I'm looking for work. And this is what I consider myself. I'm an engineer, I instruct, and I'm part of the executive team for Code Platoon. So this is like the thing that I decide to give myself. You can write full stack engineer. You can write full stack engineering student, like, web development student. Like, it's up to you. However you would like to say it. I would write full stack engineering student or something like that for now. And then once you're ready, you can just change it over to full stack engineer. I have a small little paragraph that's actually the way that I kind of like to, when people first come upon my LinkedIn, they're going to look at this and see this little thing here. I'm a software engineer. I have experience in Ruby on Rails, React, and Python, and I'm a teacher who likes light bulb moments. And they can kind of see from this small little paragraph a little bit more than just like, here's all my professional accomplishments. You can write whatever you'd like inside of here. Make sure it's professional, shows off a little bit. Again, you're trying to brand yourself. You're trying to set yourself apart from your competition. This stuff you won't see. And now I have all of my experience. I don't have I only had like 6 jobs. So I write a little bit about each one. So it's kind of like, this is my current role. I'm working at DRW as a software engineer. And then this is, I haven't updated this. This is essentially what I'm doing there, but I haven't talked about the results that it had yet. I'm guessing, I haven't actually measured it. It's probably like 80% productivity increase for this one particular team, which is one person, but don't tell anybody that. But it's like, I could say 80% increase in productivity, because they don't have to manage any of it themselves. I think it's a fairly safe bet. Then I have all my other ones over here. This is, again, I'm not the prime example of having measurable results, but if I wanted to, I can just bust them out. I have taught, 5 classes of students. I have all but 2 of them have found jobs, so that's about a 90% placement rate so far. I've rewritten the curriculum. I've helped get additional funding for us. Like, so when we started, we had like $200,000. Now we have $500,000 or something like that. I don't actually know the numbers, but it's like, I can find those numbers and then say like, I was part of that. And then those numbers, I was like a 150% increase on the budget, 90% placement rate. Those are things that look really good. In reality, it's like, it's just part of any organization. It's not like me really trying to show off, but to recruiters, they don't care. They want to see those big numbers on there. So I have all of my experiences, and you can choose either you can write it in paragraph form like me, or you can do bullet points. Once you get down to the bottom, you have your education that you had over here. And there's also endorsements. So if you add a skill onto your LinkedIn, people can endorse you for it, give you a thumbs up saying like, I worked with this person, they actually good at Ruby on Rails and things like that. And you can also get recommendations. And then once we take the SAFe practitioner exam, we're gonna have that accomplishment, this little badge right over here on our LinkedIn.
What is the SAFe part? What is that?
So remember, we're going to do Agile training over the weekend in about a month.
Okay.
Yeah. So someone's going to be coming in. Everyone's going to take the course unfortunately on a Saturday and Sunday. We'll figure out something with class so that, kind of like an olive branch between us and you. And then at the end, you're going to take a test to basically become Agile certified. And everyone,
What's Agile again?
are you kidding?
Uh,
What's Agile?
I take it back.
No, it's a software development process. So you have very.
Oh yes. Sorry,
Yeah.
I didn't realize it was a certification form.
Yeah, I mean, you are a certified practitioner of it. So if you are, if you're going to like Coca-Cola or John Deere or one of those big companies, they're really, really old. So they do a lot of stuff in waterfall. So today they're trying to move everything towards Agile and to make everything more lean and, up to date and things like that, because that's how they're going to attract top talent. But it's hard to move over from a waterfall when your company's been doing it for 100 years and moving into an Agile environment. And that's the job of certified Scrum Masters, safe Agile practitioners, and things like that. So once you have this certification, you are therefore officially authorized to help them move along that journey.
Okay, I'm sorry. I do apologize.
I don't care. I was just giving you a hard time for fun.
Certification.
Yeah, so there's a certification involved. Everyone who's taken it has passed it. Everyone who's here in person gets to take it for free. It's part of your tuition. And if you're remote and you want to come on site, unfortunately, it does have to be here at Code Platoon. So there's a few things I want people to do as we kind of get started. Again, this is all, actually, let me do one more thing and then I'll pass it back to you for 30 minutes worth of work. Who am I going to pick on today? Who am I going to pick on today? Who wants to be called on, I guess? All right, Tristan, tell me about yourself.
I military background. I have professional experience in project management and security. I am an adventure sports enthusiast, and I do a lot of volunteer work. And I really enjoy creating wealth for myself and for my people that I care about.
Cool. Now, the thing you have to understand about recruiters is they talk all day, but they're also human beings. So your initial reaction to how someone's response is also similar to a recruiter's initial response. How do you think that went? It was a little clunky, right? And the first person I always pick on in every class is always going to be like this because they haven't had to answer this question in a long time. But essentially what we're doing is we're going to take on one behavioral question every single week. For us this week, it's going to be, tell me about yourself. This is the most fundamental question at every single interview. It's the exact question that they're going to ask once you walk in the door. Oh, okay. So, Tristan, thank you for coming in today. Tell me a little bit about yourself and why you're here. Or some variation of that. It's like, why do you want to work at this company? Who are you, kind of thing. So we're going to be tackling that question as well. What specifically about Tristan's answer wasn't great? Besides the fact that he didn't know I was going to ask the question and he didn't have a set. Like what about it? What would you ideally have liked to hear? Dan?
It was kind of like bullet points that you just listen up, and it wasn't really a story about stuff.
Exactly. Yeah, I would say that's the biggest thing. A lot. It's kind of clunky because it was kind of like armed services background. I like volunteering. And it's like, these are all the high level things. But when people talk, like imagine if you had a conversation with somebody and you asked them a question, they just responded in bullet points. It's efficient, but it's not how humans interact. So you want to be able to tell a story. And the way that I try to tell everyone, and I'll write all of this stuff for you to do over the next 30 minutes inside the Slack channel. I like to say, like, this is who I am. And you can start pretty much wherever you'd like. I tell most people in this class to start around the time that you were in the military. And then basically so I know for one student, it was like, I'm Raymond Aranda. He was in my last class. He was Marvin's platoon sergeant. He's like, I'm Ray Aranda. I was in the Army for 8 years as a forward observer, which means that I carried a large radio in my backpack and coordinated strikes and things like that. And he's like, and then he started talking about his experience in the military and then how that transitioned into tech. He says, when I first started the military, the radios were like this big. I had carried a huge thing on my backpack. And by the time that I left, like the radios became much smaller to the point that they were only this big. And he says, every single person in the military knows that, we have to the next war is going to be a cyber war. Like I've seen the the role that technology has played in warfare, and the way that it has helped me when I was doing patrol and things like that. So when I came back, when I got out, I got a degree in web development, and then I joined Code Platoon because I found myself very engaged inside of technology, something like that. So the idea is like who you are, your experience in the military. This is just a broad generalization if you want to go this way. Who you are, your experience in the military, the role that technology played, why you got interested in technology, and then how you got here. That's a story that on average most of the time has gained us the most success. And again, I'll type all of this out. So today we're going to do two things until 10 a.m. and then we'll take a break and we'll do some whiteboarding. We're going to work on our LinkedIn profiles, and these are the things I want you to look out for. Some sort of cover photo related to tech. Find a good photo of you to just do a placeholder for now. If you don't have a really great headshot of you, that's fine. We can work something out. Full stack engineering student, your name, where you want to work, connect with everybody here in class, get LinkedIn Premium if you can. Again, don't worry about writing all this down. I'll tell you all of it inside the thing. Basically write down every single role that you have that you think is worthwhile with as few breaks as possible. If you do have a break for X number of years, you don't need to put anything in there. Just be sure that you're able to explain it. I took off 2 years because my mom was sick and I needed to take care of her. That's legitimate. That's part of life. You don't need to worry about, I need to make up some BS like I owned my own company and had $0 of revenue during that time. You don't need to worry about that. But every experience that you find useful, just put it inside of here. You don't need to write any bullet points. Just get that baseline out of the way, and then we'll go from there. Your education, put it down here, and then you should be good. When it comes to your behavioral question, what we're tackling this week is tell me about yourself. So in full-length prose, so just full paragraphs, talk about your experience, who you are, your military experience, what you did there, because civilians are very interested. It's kind of like this black box of that we just don't know, right? And then talk about the role that technology played while you were in the military, why you got interested, how that transitioned into you getting interested in technology, if that is the case, and then that should be good. I'll write this all out, but we have until 10 a.m. and then I'm going to start asking some people questions along the way, just to kind of see where people are at.
So we're mainly writing who we are and our roles.